Hi, everyone. We're here at Fluxx Awards Las Vegas Edition 2025, and I'm here with Dr. Rotondo. If you could please share with us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Sure, I'm a licensed psychologist and I specialize in clinical neuropsychology. Primarily, that involves assessment and testing of individuals experiencing different types of deficits that could be related to thinking or cognitive problems, emotional dysfunction, or difficulties with emotional functioning. Oftentimes, these types of deficits, if they're cognitive, for instance, or have to do with thinking skills, could be secondary to various types of causes such as traumatic brain injury, stroke, aging, and other factors like substance use, mood disorders, and so forth. And in addition to my small business, which involves neuropsychological assessment, we also have psychotherapy. And my wife, Dr. Megan Rotondo, practices the clinical psychotherapy component of the practice.
Such an interesting concept.
Mhm.
And what are some principles that have guided you to your success today?
So I would say number one, perseverance. I guess grit is another word that I feel like has a lot of importance. Being consistent, but at the same time continuing to learn from your mistakes and always trying to better yourself and your approach to work. A lot of basics: being on time, being respectful of others, responding promptly to communication, whether it's via email, telephone call. I think oftentimes, at least in my experience, some of those basics get overlooked, and you know, when they get overlooked consistently and it kind of accumulates, it doesn't result in the best relationship or the best work ethic, if you will. So just maintaining some of that, in addition to you know, continuing education, seeking mentorship, being humble, you know, knowing that we'll err. It's part of who we are as individuals, and learn and just growing from that.
That was so much great advice. And who has been your biggest influence or support system throughout your journey?
So probably number one would be my father, who practiced neuropsychiatry and psychiatry. He passed away, so a lot of the work I do is in his memory. But he was a great father, a great man, a great clinician, physician, well known in the community in the South Florida area for his expertise. And he always motivated me. And sometimes the expectations were pretty high. So,
Right.
but that's part of how you know, father-son relationships can be, but they were high in a good way. And so he's always been my inspiration as far as the neuropsychological kind of component. Other, you know, theorists and, you know, writers, philosophers, Rene Descartes, Charles Dickens, you wouldn't think it makes me want to do neuropsychology, but just the way that he was able to depict people and have a sense of humor in that, and just writing in general has always been an inspiration for me, and learning about how different people think. So
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Well,
Viktor Frankl's another one that's
oh yeah,
important, yeah,
big one.
because I get inspired talking about it, right? Yeah, so uh-huh.
Well, you're here today, so you're doing a great job in honoring your father.
Mhm.
So being here and winning this award, what does that mean to you professionally and personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a wonderful experience to have. Just being recognized in this capacity, and so I guess the experience itself of receiving the award, everything leading up to it, initially receiving the communication that I was nominated for this award, not even knowing it existed, that it was, you know, something that was a possibility for me. And then in addition, just this whole community of everyone else, like-minded individuals, you know, learning from each other, being able to kind of congregate like this and in a way develop who we are through these discussions that we have. This idea of valuing things like, you know, it's not an academic forum, but in a way it's kind of this gathering of that. I like how it is prioritized through the Fluxx team and has been, and I would love for it to be even more prioritized in society. just to kind of develop our species, right? In general. So
It's great to be around like-minded people for sure.
yeah.
And so, do you have any further advice to any emerging entrepreneurs or leaders that would like to get into your field?
Sure. I would say if you're an entrepreneur to it's a risk. At least it was for me. You know, when I made the move from kind of developing a small business and I have a wife and 3 kids, and this all happened in the midst of all that. And so, take a risk, but not but I guess, you know, I mean, if when you make the move to go into entrepreneurship, have it be a move. So, in other words, have something that you've developed that's had some sort of stability financially, whatever type of employment you've been able to achieve, and maintain that, and then kind of move on to the entrepreneurship component while you're stable and while you're comfortable. I know others just go straight to be entrepreneur, and they've been very successful in doing that. But from my personal experience, it was easier for me to slowly make the transition to now being able to kind of develop my own practice and small business, and having the flexibility to be able to expand when I want to.
Mhm.
Another piece of advice is, whatever you're doing, to focus on that and make the product be great before trying to maybe perhaps expand too quickly, but just to be consistent with one thing. So, for instance, with neuropsychological assessment, my product is the report. Even though meeting with the person is important, doing the testing, you actually have a product that other people see, which is different perhaps from therapy, where you have sessions, but with the report you have a product. So I've tried to really develop that, put a lot of work into it, much more probably than what's been, I mean, a lot of time. But in doing so, I feel like I've been able to develop a reputation, that when individuals come to the practice, they know that they'll receive good care and very thorough and comprehensive assessment.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned calculated risk. That's so good. And where can people find you to learn more and stay inspired?
So we're in South Florida. Boca Raton is where our office is. But we also, my wife practices telehealth therapy. And then as we develop, we'll continue to have telehealth therapy offered. And then I also can practice at different facilities in addition to my office. So I can actually provide testing at certain inpatient or outpatient treatment facilities, whether it's for mental health problems, substance use. I've practiced also at providing services at a neurology clinic next to a medical center. That's helpful for individuals who maybe, would like to have everything in one office that they can't, it's harder for them to get around,
Yeah.
and so forth. So South Florida, Boca Raton area, but within Broward and Palm Beach counties, I can also travel to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah, thanks
sharing.
for having
Yeah,
me.
I'm so glad we're able to honor you tonight.
Yeah, and thank you to the Fluxx team. I mean, this has been such a remarkable experience, to have this opportunity, and to just like we discussed. I mean, even just discussion now is
Yeah.
great. So thank you.
Yeah, well deserved. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.